and welcome back to my channel. By the time you're seeing this, it is officially the Christmas season and I am just so excited to bring on all the lights, all the decorations, the music, and of course, the baking. Today we're kicking it off with some gingerbread cookies, which are my favorite holiday treat. It's not something I normally crave, but once you have one, you just need another, and another, and another. Plus, they are so adorable, they make really impressive gifts, and they're just a lot of fun to make. So let's go ahead and get right into it, but first I just want to say a big warm welcome. If you are new, I would love if you would hit that subscribe button so you can come along this Christmas season with me. Let's go! Alright, so we're going to get started with a softened stick of butter. Just leave this out on your counter for about 30 minutes and it will be ready to go. And then we're just going to go ahead and cream that until smooth. So since that's softened, it shouldn't take long, but it is nice and smooth now. We're going to go ahead and add 1/3 cup of brown sugar. Just make sure that is nice and packed. And then 1/3 cup of molasses. So now to add in our spices, you definitely want some cinnamon and some ginger, and then you can also have your allspice and some nutmeg. You can also put cloves in there, or you can also add in some pumpkin pie spice because that's just kind of a blend of all of these. So there are a ton of different recipes with differing amounts of spices, but I like to put a full tablespoon of cinnamon and then a full tablespoon of ginger. And I know that seems like a lot, but this is where all your flavor is coming from. And you want to make sure that your gingerbread cookies taste like ginger. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and just do a 1/2 teaspoon of the allspice. And just a little bit of nutmeg. Why not? And then I'm also just going to add in a teeny bit of the pumpkin pie spice because, well, I just want to, guys. I just want to. So just a teeny bit. And then just a little splash of vanilla extract, or if you have vanilla bean paste, that's even better. I definitely need to get my hands on some of that. I just do a little splash, and then a pinch of salt. You always want to add your salt into your sweets to balance it out. And then last, before we mix it all up, is an egg. Okay, so now time to mix it up until it's well combined. I just like to go back in with my spatula and make sure that everything is nice and mixed and nothing is stuck at the bottom. Oh, it smells so good, guys. Seriously, smells like Christmas. Oh my gosh. So now we're gonna add in our dry ingredients, starting with 2 cups of flour. And then we just want 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And we are gonna mix all that together and we have our dough. All right, guys, our dough is looking really yummy. You could go ahead and just roll this out and get to cutting your cookies, but what I like to do is dump it out onto some plastic wrap. This is just gonna make your dough a lot easier to work with and ensure that you don't, accidentally have an amputee gingerbread man. So. I'm just going to pop this in the fridge for 30 minutes and I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven to 375 just so I don't forget later on. Okay, so it's been about 30 or 40 minutes that this has been in the fridge and it is a little firmer. I'm just going to unwrap it here. And just make sure that your surface is clean and go ahead and give it a good amount of flour. Oh, what am I doing? I need to roll up my sleeves first. I always forget to do this and now I'm screwed. Fun stuff, who cares? Getting messy, guys. Don't do that. Anyway, pretty good amount of flour there. Flour your rolling pin as well. And plop it down. just gonna start from the center out and roll out your dough. You're gonna want it to be about like 1/4 of an inch thick. But if you like, you know, skinnier, crispier gingerbread cookies, roll it thinner. But I kind of like mine on the verge of like chewy, you know, like an actual cookie. Just make sure that it is fairly even across because you don't want some cookies super thin and some thick. Then your cooking time is going to get a little messed up. Okay, I feel like that is good. So I'm going to grab my cookie cutters. I'm just using a little gingerbread man, a tree, and then a snowflake, but you can really use any shape that you want. And just go ahead and flour the edges of your cookie cutter here. And we're just going to go for it. Kind of give it a little wiggle. Okay, so now you're just going to take your dough and peel it off around your little shapes. And put this in a little pile because you can re-roll that out, or you can put this extra dough in some plastic wrap and put it back into the fridge if you just want to make a different batch of cookies a separate day. Just be careful not to rip off any arms or legs of your little gingerbreads, because that is never fun. And then I just used a spatula to transfer the cookies onto a cookie sheet, and I'm gonna put these in the oven for 10 to 14 minutes at 375. The reason that your time can differ, you know, that 4 minutes is just depending on, one, how thin you rolled out your cookies, two, the shapes that you're using. Like if you're using a skinny candy cane shape, that's gonna go way faster than these thicker gingerbread men. And it just depends if you like a chewier cookie or a more crunchy cookie. So I just always put it in for 10 minutes and then I check it at that point and decide if I want to keep going or pull them out. So into the oven they go. So our cookies are now done and I'm just transferring them onto a cooling rack because you don't want them to overcook on the hot pan. Actually going to move these over here to cool because while they do, I'm going to go ahead and whip up our royal icing. So for your royal icing, you're going to go ahead and separate 3 egg whites and just make sure that these are pasteurized eggs just so it is safe for everyone to eat. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Now we're going to whip this up until it gets frothy. So that is nice and frothy in there. And now you're going to need 4 cups of powdered sugar, icing sugar, confectioner sugar. There's like a million names for it. But you're going to gradually add your 4 cups. Alright, that wasn't too big of a mess actually. Normally it's like a disaster zone. So that entire time I was just beating it on a low speed as I was adding everything in. Now it is nice and shiny and combined, and I'm going to up the speed until it has nice, shiny, glossy peaks. So after you've done that, you want your icing to be pretty thick and holding some glossy, stiff peaks. If it's not, it might just be a little too runny, so I'm going to add a little bit more powdered sugar because that's what's happening to mine. And I want to make sure when I decorate my snowmen, those little lines and dots that I do hold their shape. So let's see if that'll do the trick. Okay, my icing looks pretty good. It's holding some peaks, which is exactly what I want. It's not going to fall super quick off of my spatula. And now we're going to put it into a piping bag, or you can put it into a large Ziploc if you're DIYing it like I am. And a super easy trick to do that, which I've showed you guys before, is to take a small bowl, find the corner that you're going to use, put it directly in the bowl, wrap the outer portion of the bag around it, then just scoop in all of your icing. just remove your bag from the bowl, and you have your royal icing ready to go. Okay, we're gonna bring our cookies back close to us. We have our icing. I like to have a little paper plate if you want to practice a shape on it or just clean off the tip of your icing bag. It'll just make everything super easy for you. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut the teeniest little bit off of the corner of our Ziploc bag. Boom. And now you have our piping bag. Let's get to decorating. So you guys can use the royal icing to decorate them however you want. You can even color your royal icing if you'd like to, or add little candies, you know, gumdrop buttons and everything. But I'll just show you guys how I like to decorate them. And I'm not sure why, but my cookies cracked a little bit while they were cooling. That's never happened to me before, so that's a new thing, but not every batch can be perfect, can they? Starting with the Christmas tree, I'm just drawing a zigzag line down the tree. This could be snow, garland, or a string of lights. And then if you'd like, you can let that icing dry for just a moment. Once it's a little hardened, you can go back and add little dots for lights on your string. For a gingerbread man, I like to go the classic route. 2 little eyes and a smile, 3 little buttons, and then I do little squiggles for his cuffs. And then for the snowflake, there are so many different things you can do. I like to keep it easy and simple and do a little design with dots. So that is how I like to make gingerbread cookies, and I think the Christmas tree is my favorite. I do have a second batch cooling right now, and they are not cracking, so I think this just was a fluke. I don't know, but I'll put in some pictures of the cookies now for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching and baking along with me today. Let me know down in the comments below what you're baking this holiday season, and definitely let me know if you try this recipe and how you like it. I'll see you guys all next week. Bye!